Alright guys, welcome to the secret history living in your aquarium. Just wanted to show off some of these beautiful little shrimpies that we got here. These are from Aquatics, from Daniel Johnson, a friend in the shrimp forums over the years. But I just wanted to kind of do an update a few days after they've settled in. And we've got these really nice, they're almost like shadow pandas or something, but they're technically black, so they're technically like a fishbone or herringbone galaxy maybe. And then we've got the Tangerine Tigers in here, looking nice, little young ones, and then a mix of crystal red and red wine, as well as some super tiger crossed with Tybee, and some. These ones here are just so nice. The red and the black herringbone ones. I just really like these, especially their tail. They've got the little dots on the end of it. As far as conditions go for this kind of, this is what we call like a Michelin tank. Like here's a real cross of different lines or species. Here you can actually see here is from Priscilla. This is a blue bolt coal, but from Swiss Aquatics, and there's still some of hers. I had a little bit less than stellar luck with them in the old tank, but this is a new setup, all new. There's got some orange-eyed blue tigers that are pretty good shape, even though that color's a little off on the camera, along with the Tangerine Tiger though. And then over next door we've got the shrimp that are always fine and happy and sassy as ever, and these are the Blue Dreams. You know, they're just radiant up top there. I mean, such beautiful ones. These are Lucas Brett's line originally. Had them for 5 or 6 years now. First shrimp I've really, I mean, I kept some earlier versions of shrimp, but these are the first line that I really have kept and watched and kept an eye on. And you can see there's babies, if it would focus, but has a hard time on the really teeny ones focusing. But they've got a really nice blue color. And then up here, these ones, we've got a mix of from both Priscilla and from Aquatics. Of the crystal red. That one I believe is Dan's. Right here is kind of like maybe a pure red line coal, but these are all Caridina in with Neo Caridina, and the Neo Caridina can take a lot higher TDS, a lot wider range of temperatures. Here we've got a pregnant female, but they're in with the Panda Loaches also, and Panda Loaches, so far I've never witnessed them ever eating or harming or harassing any of the shrimp. In fact, the shrimp ride them around and, you know, couldn't care less about the presence of them. But what's interesting is that we've gotten, in this same tank, we've got, like here's another one from Priscilla over here. And then we've got the ones from Dan. And the ones from Dan seem to have hidden. They're still new to the tank, so I wonder if that's just literally like they're shy. They're getting to know their tank, because they're all hiding in and around the shrubberies. This tank here, we have a here you can see there's some under the cholla wood over here, kind of in that algae heap. If I put food out, I'm sure they'll come and hang out. But in this tank, there's not much room to hide. We've got one Anubias in there. And actually, you know, the Anubias has some blackbeard, so it's probably not the best thing in the world to have in here. But we'll see. Sometimes in a new tank like this, the blackbeard won't take over, and there's other algae on any leaf that I bring in. So sometimes it won't be the right climate or the right conditions for them, and they will not take hold, and then the shrimp will eat the dead stuff, the dead blackbeard. But look at the shapes and the patterns on these from Dan Aquatic here. These are really cool from Daniel. They're just each unique, you know, and it depends on what line they're from and what the traits are. But you've got the herringbone or fishbone, whatever you want to call it. You've got the dots and the pinto. You've got the galaxy spotting. Then you got the tiger or Thai bee, where they're half tiger, half bee shrimp, Japanese bee shrimp, Cantonensis Caridina. Here we've got another crystal red coming out, but they've got the nice little dots on either side up on the main shoulder stripe, which I think looks really cool. And then we've also got the blue tigers in here, and one pregnant one already, which is cool. And then up here, these guys are feeding on algae on the hornwort that's from another tank. So this tank has no planaria, no scuds or any sort of pests at all. It's brand new water, all clean, all fluval stratum in there right off the get-go. So we shouldn't have any sort of issues whatsoever in this tank, hopefully. And then up above, we've got a few other tanks with some other shrimp Caridina species. And then over here, I thought we'd check on the Caridina. These ones are in with the Medaka rice fish, the Miyuki, beautiful, from Aquatic Arts. Link to everybody that I discuss here in the description. You can get a discount from Aquatic Arts. But the leopard or cheetah, whatever you want to call them, they haven't been formally described yet, but they're hanging tight over in this corner where they were kind of released on this side of the tank, and they've held true to mostly hanging out over here with the least killifish. But they're just really beautiful in that they've got this bluish purple gasoline shimmer to their spots, if we can get a good angle on them, and then kind of like a light metallic purple with a bronze or gold laced color that kind of follows just the edge of their body. Whereas over here we've got some Malawa Caridina, and I don't know if they can cross. We'll find out, but these ones have googly eyes. See, they actually have eyeballs with the black, and so they're easy to tell apart because of that. And well, I can just tell them apart now. But I am curious, and I'm okay with the fact if they were to cross a little bit, because Malawa are so hardy. And there comes another set of the least killifish. There goes a male, and there's the female least killifish. She's so plump, she's gonna probably have 5-6 babies come out soon. And in this tank, everybody's doing really well. Here comes another male least killy. Those are native to Florida and the deep south of the United States, Georgia, and a few other areas too. Here we have another Malawa, and the Malawa seem to be steering clear of the Cheetah Shrimp a little bit, which is interesting to me. I wonder if they're enemies at all, or if, you know, they're tougher, if the Cheetahs are tougher. The fact that they're a wild strain too. The Malawas are also sort of a wild strain, but they've been in the hobby for a really long time, whereas the Cheetahs are a new one, and I don't even know the Latin. Nobody, I don't believe, knows the Latin exactly on the Cheetah Shrimp. Let's see if this is another one here we can take a look at. But it's hard to see. You can kind of see they've got like metallic spots underneath their shell, which is really cool, underneath their exoskeleton. Well, and a lot of times when shrimp get into a new environment, they'll shed their shell. So I'm also taking a look to see if we've got sheds like we do right here. They've got one exoskeleton missing from a little fella, and it looks like that's a little Malawa shrimp eating it. So they'll eat their own exoskeletons after they shed. And I've got a video to help you guys tell the difference between dead versus shed. If you're ever wondering, some people worry that, oh no, my shrimp is dead, and they'll see almost a perfect replica of their shrimp laying on the ground or in their tank, in the tank, and they're fine usually. It's usually just the shed. But there we go. Here's a nice good view of a cheetah there. That's what we were hoping for. Just a beautiful little delicate shrimp. I mean, probably an inch long max. Look at the size of the whiskers though, the off the rostrum, and then there goes a Malawa next to it for comparison. So just so you get an idea. Those are my bluer line of Malawas. And just really nice spotting. This one you can see has that blue iridescence on the top, glimmering off a little bit like gasoline shimmer. So they're just a fun one, and I'm really excited to have them. I hope they do well. They're supposed to be pretty hardy as far as Caridina go. They're supposed to be of the hardier persuasion, and I've seen them doing the typical shrimp thing where they're upside down eating on the bottom of the underside of the surface tension of the water. So I think right now they've kind of run for the hills to hide a bit, but they'll come back out once they feel more comfortable. A lot of this water is pretty still, and that's not typical. A lot of people don't do that when they keep Caridina, or Neocaridina for that matter. But I've had really extraordinary good luck with pretty still water and shrimp. I mean, this tank here has extremely still water, and it's just overloaded with Malawa, and as well as both of these two tanks have Malawa and the if we can find one, oh yeah, there's one right there, the Gold Nebula. Sorry about that brain fart. If it would focus, come on. And the Gold Nebula, as you can see, got these from Aquatic Arts too. These have the beautiful spangling on their shell, and so they kind of look like a low-grade tiger, wild tiger, but it's all speckles right at the joints of their exoskeleton. So that's kind of one way you can tell the difference. And then there's other variations in their rostrum, the amount of little notches on it in their eyes and stuff. But they're getting along really well with the gobies in here with the green and black. You can see the green there from Aquatic Arts. These are the riffle gobies, the green and black, and then the catfish too, the red lizard whiptails. They're all doing good, hanging out. I need to get them a plant that's the same color as they are, like this stone, because they feel so much safer when that's the case. So if I can find them more stuff that's their color, then they'll come out and be a little more available for their close-up. Now up here, the last tank we'll check on, this is where the super tiger shrimp went. Oh, there's some right there. And the Raccoon shrimp. So let's see if we can get the glare off. But they're a really nice one in that they've got this dark kind of purple and then totally clear, big, strong. See that female's got the big, strong shoulder, good, healthy, chunky looking shrimp. So I'm hoping that they're another hardy line, and they're another wild line, really. We got a pregnant one back there, but look at this one here again. So hopefully everything goes well with these and they like the water conditions. We're going to check the TDS too on everything, just so you guys can get an idea of where I'm keeping things at. And the pH should be around 6.5 or 6 in here, and the TDS is 155. And like I said, this is a really old tank, so that's on the higher end of what you would ideally want to see for Caridina, and for Neocaridina that's totally fine. Then for here, you can see 80 is the TDS. I don't know, can you see that? 80. And the pH is around neutral, exactly, maybe 6.8 or so. Tap water here. Unlike up here, these are some now fairly seasoned tanks, and we moved. There's mostly just cherry shrimp in here, but again, 80 parts. And if you compare that with some of my other tanks, this one's got snails in it that I'm working on some genetics of. They're doing okay, but it's also probably going to be close to an 80 parts per million or something. Let's see here. Oh no, 100 or 180 parts per million. Off by 100. That's okay though. There's only just green Neocaridinas left in here, and just the tail end of their colony that I didn't cross in with some blue dreams. You can see the tail of one of them there, and Probably another one under and over by the sponge filters. I think there's only 5 left in here at the moment in this little 2-gallon. And then there's some eggs that hatched from least killifish, and there's more of the green jade. The truest line though that I've ever had from green jade, and if you go next door, which I kind of mucked up when I was hunting for shrimp, for adult shrimp, in here you can also see the baby shrimp on the glass that are mostly Caridina, but there's a couple from Priscilla's, from Swiss Aquatics, of her black crystal line, and they just look great. But they're getting along well with the baby Caridina. And then also there are some planaria in here. See that? There's one right there. And I worry about them eating the babies, but with enough Bacter AE and just also the food that's in here on a microscopic level and algae level, they seem to be doing fine. I don't know if you can make out that there's shrimp, baby shrimp all over pretty much everywhere. I mean, if we look around, you just start to see them. And there's a good amount of the green babies from this tank. Over there they look downright yellow, but they're green. It's just the light right here in the angle that I'm at. But they were out and about in the front earlier, and I'm not seeing any big presence of them right now, but they were looking good too. So, and then the last wild Caridina. This one's another unknown species. It's got very dark traits though. Lots of markings and dark traits. Don't know at all what these are. They came in from Pacific Islands somewhere. Not specific at all. And then over here we've got the big algae eating shrimp from Aquatic Arts from Japan. Not a mono, mind you. These are the where are they? Let me see if I can get my footing, because this is up 6 feet off the ground, so I'm kind of in a precarious position, but we'll try to find you guys one before we sign off. And up here, let me get my little net so we can kind of move things around a bit. But up here, these ones are, yeah, here comes one of the palmata. So this is where Snowball and some of the yellow Caridina's come from. Instead of Caridina zangagensis or Davidi, which is like the cherry shrimp lines and things, this is a palmata, and that's possibly where one of the gold line genes comes from also, when you see that in the back of various Caridina's. Some people have said that it was crossed in from this strain. But up here we go. Here's the big bruisers. This is a big old female with some eggs, I believe. There's 3 or 4 with eggs right now, and so we'll see if this is one of them. But they won't make it. Their eggs need salt water. But this is the short nose, the shortest of the stubby nose algae eating shrimp. And just for a size comparison, you can see the beautiful colors on them though. And then in their digestive tract, which that's that dark line, alongside of it, there's this kind of cool red vein that runs along it when they're excited. It pumps with blood and is very obvious. But they're a really great one for eating algae, but also not climbing out of the tank and causing problems. And by the way, there we go. So here is, those are actually young Babaulti Caridina. So some of the Babaultis I got from Aquatic Arts. They still have a few of the adults, but the adults didn't hold out so well, but there were a whole group of babies. So there's a baby down there, there's a baby there, and then the Caridina green ones are quite a bit darker, wherever they are. So that's the state of things right now in here. And I guess we should shine a light, literally, on these guys for you, which are just the normal red. Mix of Lucas Brett's red and his great award-winning ones, and then mixed with them an Aquatic Arts painted fire line is also cut in. The Aquatic Arts ones tended to be more solid red, if that makes sense, like this one where you can't see through them whatsoever, whereas his have a little bit of a glow, like this one up here. Well, that's actually the lowest grade you're probably going to see. And that's a yellow Caridina in there too, because I wanted to just have a Skittles tank a little bit too. I've got enough of the red ones in different tanks, but yeah, there you go. So that's all the shrimp updates from my shrimp fortress. There are a few other oddball species in this mess down there and over here, as well as some large bamboo shrimp and things like that, but we can check in on them when we have better light in the daytime. There's also some in here, but everything's going well. And yet again, like I think I mentioned, all these tanks, even the ones with the Malungu haplochromis that are big, this is the smallest one right here, zooming around in all this mulmy tank. I don't know why, but they seem to really like this mulm. And they seem to have produced a lot of it, kicking it up and digging up dirt and moving rocks and excavating. But these guys here, they still have shrimp in with them down in this area. They haven't eaten them all, so shrimp are still doing their thing, doing their jam. So yeah, all right guys, I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.